Hey, what's going on, guys? We're live again with another video. Sorry, my camera's off as it was an early kickoff, and I literally got out of bed to watch this game. And Arsenal lose 12:30 kickoff UK time. Since 4 years ago, the last time we lost 12:30 kickoff was 5-0 to Man City away at the Etihad 4 years ago. And today, Arsenal have just lost 1-0 to Newcastle away at St. James Park with a disappointing defeat and Alexander Isak's header separating the two teams, giving Newcastle the win against us and 3 points. Some concerns around the title race, whether the title race is over. For me personally, I think if we don't beat Chelsea, then the title race is unfortunately over for us. I think it's a bit too early to say whether the title race is over or not right now. I think we still have one more life left mathematically, points-wise. You need over 90 points to win a league, and we saw that last season. We've seen that previous seasons between Liverpool and Man City. It takes a lot more to win the league now than it did in the past. Those of you watching on Twitter, hop on over to my YouTube channel. It's called Miss Melina, and I'm going to be going through how the game unfolded, some players that stood out, and more importantly, our worst creativity possible, a lack of creativity and no service to whatever striker we had available on the pitch today. I'm not singling out any player for a bad performance. I think collectively we were really poor. And Anthony Gordon's exceptional delivery today, alongside Alexander Isak, their partnership is really, really good. And they shut down our right-hand side quite effortlessly. The two of them. Yeah, you can say Bruno Guimaraes dropped like a fly every time to win a foul or to win a challenge, but I think it was mostly Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon that gave us a hard time. Hi, Lamario. Thank you for tuning in. He says, hey, big up to Shay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to cue the intro and we'll go straight into the match reaction. Unfortunately, this one isn't a pleasant one as Arsenal are defeated 1-0 to Newcastle away from home at St. James Park. And it's another defeat for Arsenal since the Bournemouth game, where we also lost away at the Vitality Stadium. Let me go ahead and cue the intro and we'll go straight into a review of the performance today. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back again with another video. As it stands right now, Man City are currently down 1-0 to Bournemouth at the Etihad, mind you, but it's Man City. We all know that this is a fluke, and Man City can bounce back anytime with Kevin De Bruyne fully available on the bench, Rico Lewis on the bench. They have a lot more options than us on the bench at the moment. Brighton scored on Liverpool. Wow. That's disappointing. I have Trent and Salah captain in my fantasy, but we'll go straight into this game. Guys, if you guys saw my preview, I said I was crying out loud, for Christ's sake, for Ethan Nwaneri to start. I didn't want to see Trossard start. And now, at full time, everybody and their grandma is saying Trossard shouldn't have started this game, especially in the number 10 position. I would have rather played Ethan Nwaneri. I don't know what Ethan has to do more to get into the starting 11, but it seems like I don't know what Trossard's doing to get a start week in and week out. I know there's not many options available, but I felt like this was a game where we could have used Ethan Nwaneri, and I had him in my predicted 11. Also, we found out yesterday that Ben White did train in yesterday's training session, so I thought Ben White would start and Partey would not be at right back. But Arteta went with Partey at right back. I guess Ben White only had one training session, so maybe he wasn't fully fit to start today's game. Fine, no problem. I don't think Partey did a terrible job at right back, but Trossard in the midfield and Martinelli, both of them today were just stinking up the gaff, and it didn't work out for us today. I think both of them were quite poor. And for us, it was quite poor from our display in, Partey won some of his duels against Newcastle's runners and showed composure under pressure. I'm giving Partey a 7 out of 10. Raya, I'm giving a 6 out of 10. For Isak's header, Gabriel got beat. It was a close range header. It went over Gabriel, and I don't think anything could have been done to save that. So I'm giving Raya average 6 out of 10. He did make some good saves in the second half to deny long snap, I believe, and some other chances close range from I think it was Joe Linton in the second half, tried to get an easy chance, but Raya, it was too easy for Raya to save. Saliba and Gabriel. Saliba's getting a 7 for me. Saliba improved our defense today after missing out suspension against the Liverpool game, and I think physicality-wise, he was more dominant than Gabriel today. Gabriel, for me, gets a 6 out of 10. He left Isak free roaming for that penalty. As Isak cuts through, it goes all over Gabriel, and Gabriel's unaware of his positioning defensively. I guess a lack of awareness in this case, and Isak beats him and gets Newcastle 1-0 up early on in the game. Timber gets a 5 out of 10 for me. I think this is definitely a more fair match up. What I'm saying fair is I'm being generous with this 5 out of 10. I think Timber works better on the right hand side. And Timber today, for me, to sum up this, I think it's a game to forget from Timber. He was really poor. Overall, I think the whole team was poor, bar a few apples in the bunch. Timber, it seems like he's either playing with an injury, doesn't look fully fit, and I think it was definitely a game to forget for him. Timber, he struggled with the pace and energy of Anthony Gordon. He was booked for a late challenge after when the second half started, and today it just wasn't in for him. I think the other problem we have with Timber is he's not overlapping, and it kind of costed us. He wasn't doing much because he was cut back to midfield anytime he had possession, so he didn't really he wasn't doing any of the cutting back, and it costed us. It really costed us, and this was definitely a game to forget for Urian Timber. Timber not overlapping, I think that's a huge, huge problem for us, even from Martinelli. I think Timber a lot of the times was cutting into midfield to help Declan Rice, but it doesn't seem like Timber had a good game. Really poor from him. So for me, Timber's getting a 5 out of 10. Bukayo Saka, I think he was one of our better apples in the bunch, in a bad bunch today. He was the brightest spark in the final third in terms of our attack as expected. And I think he didn't really get much help from his teammates. Whenever we had the ball in midfield, we were not creating anything. We didn't have anything to move forward. And then when we had some moments of creativity, we kept losing possession too easily on the wings, especially for Martinelli and Trossard from the midfield. Rice for me was a 6 out of 10. He kept the ball whenever we needed it, and when Newcastle tried to counterattack, he tried to sweep it up. He provided some attacking threats occasionally, but he missed a really good chance in the second half in extra time when we could have, in stoppage time, when we could have been 1-0 and drew the game. Marino, for me, gets a 5 out of 10. I think Marino was quite poor today, and against the Liverpool game in my AFTV interview, I said he had a good game for that performance solely. I didn't say he's a world-class player. I didn't say he's an exceptional player. So those of you slating me on Twitter saying, oh, look how good your Marino is, being sarcastic, I was speaking about that game and that game only because it was an analysis of that game. Every game, I'm going to give a different analysis depending on the player's performance, which is common in football. I don't know why people are slating me for my opinion on Moreno from a previous game when he performed poorly today. I think he was really poor today. He struggled against Newcastle's physicality in midfield and Newcastle's strength in midfield. Martinelli, for me, was worse than Moreno. Martinelli, for me, gets a 4 out of 10. He lost almost every battle against Livramento today and was really wasteful in going forward. And, of course, he was so poor he was subbed off when Arteta made substitutions for him. Havertz, for me, also left isolated from the whole game. He couldn't really unravel Newcastle's defense. Trossard, also a 4 out of 10 for me. And this is probably the lowest player ratings I've ever done. Mind you, the Bournemouth game, I don't think I did a reaction for because that would have been just as bad as this. Trossard, for me, was a 4 out of 10. Dropping deep into the number 10 position. He had no clue of this position whatsoever. And other than trying to get possession and then losing the ball moving forward, he didn't really do anything. He didn't impact the game positively at all. And I think he held us back. I think Trossard should have been subbed off earlier for Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri coming on, yeah, we all cried out loud for it, but there was no service for him. There was no service for our strikers, our forwards in this game in the second half when Arteta made subs. This game should have brought on Zinchenko earlier on. 0 shots from our strikers is a huge indicator of how stinky our creativity is. Newcastle were really good, but we had 83 minutes to come back after Isak scored the goal, and we ended the game with 1 shot on target. Speaks volumes. We're really struggling with feeding our strikers, and in the midfield, playing Trossard in a 10. Trossard's lingering on the ball. He never wants to play a quick run, and just constantly, after he spends so much time lingering on the ball, we're losing possession, and now we're having to fight back to get the ball. We were struggling to pass between the lines. I think that's where Zinchenko coming on helped us. Bringing on Ethan did improve us, but it didn't really solve everything. And I think Martinelli wasn't really getting support around him, so he was hooked off. He was really poor today. And this wasn't a game for Trossard or Martinelli. I think these were games to forget from Timber, Trossard, and Martinelli, if I'm being honest with you. Zinchenko, for me, also gets a 6 out of 10. Ben White, Jesus, and Jorginho. Ben White, not on for long. He came on in the 71st minute with Gabriel Jesus. Of course, Zinchenko's already on, so Partey stays on. And Ben White sub for Timber and Gabriel sub for Trossard. For me, both of them get a 5.5 out of 10. I don't really think they impacted the game at all. And Jorginho, he comes on in the 86th minute. Not really done much. I'm not going to give him a rating. It was only for a couple of minutes. No appearances today from Kivior, Lewis Skelly, or Raheem Sterling. Some people did say maybe we should have brought on Sterling, but I don't think this was a game for him either. And I think at that point it was way too late for us to even try. We were so close to full time, and that one chance by Declan Rice in extra time should have been the one to get us 1-0. But I guess it wasn't meant to be, and it was a poor day in office today. Hi, the Zanzibarian. I know you're from Dan's channel. He says, hi, Mel. Poor game today. We never look like scoring. Same old story. We're lacking a critical striker because we've not had one for the last 3 years. Yeah, I don't think we've replaced Aubameyang properly. And it's unfortunately it's quite disappointing, this performance today. The midfield didn't work out today. A team with a mid block and a team with a low block, we struggled today. I think our midfield was really poor today. And those of you that said, oh, we're not really noticing Odegaard missing, we have no creativity. The games become boring. Forget whether the game's entertaining or boring. We have no creativity, no service from our midfield to attack, and 0 shots from our striker when we had 83 minutes to get back into the game. Ending the game at full time with 1 shot on target is pathetic. It's laughable. And that was our performance on the pitch today. Hi, Jordan. Big up to you. I believe you're 1-0 down to Brighton at Anfield as it stands. Big up, Roar. Thank you for tuning in to our watch-along earlier. Moss and I did a watch-along on Moss Sports World and my channel as well. We dare not let go of Partey. We will be in shambles if we do. I think we'll offer him a 1-year contract depending on if he agrees to it, obviously. But I have a feeling that maybe Saudi Arabia might come calling for Thomas Partey. As you guys know, Saudi Arabia like to pay big money for some of the players that are a lot older in age. And I don't think Partey would take reduced wages. Usually when you get older, you want more wages because you know you're not going to be playing a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer window. I think today my summary of the game is our midfield. First of all, we can't blame the refs. The refs really didn't do anything to hinder us from performing. It was our own mistakes, and we were really, really poor today in attack. Our midfield had no link up with our attack, no service with our attackers, and we had so much possession, but we didn't do anything with it. It was a really, really poor performance. We never looked like we were going to get back into the game. We were outplayed by Newcastle, who looked so comfortable in their own gaff. And it was really worrying. We have tough away games with Inter away in the Champions League next midweek on Wednesday. And then we have Chelsea at the Bridge. Hopefully, we have Odegaard back because we have no creativity, no spark in the midfield. I think Odegaard may be back for Chelsea away at the Stamford Bridge. And Chelsea now is a must-win game for us. If we do not beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, for me, that's when the league title is over because we would have mathematically dropped way too many points for us to even challenge for the league this season. And I believe that Chelsea is a game we can win. But if we're playing like this and if we don't put our heads up, we are not gonna have a good day at Stamford Bridge. And of course, that's a London derby as well. So Chelsea are going to be up for it. And Chelsea are not the same team like last season. They're actually starting the season off strong. Yeah, they have to still play top six teams, but it's not a game where we should take lightly. Is what I'm trying to say. Overall, terrible day at the office today. We never looked like scoring. Moreno was off pace, and um, Ethan Waneri, sometimes his decision making was poor. He tried to shoot at the wrong times, but I don't think I'm just going to single out a player. He tried to make an impact, but again, there was no service from the midfield to our any of our forwards. Um, and I think one thing is the lineup that Arteta shows you can question a lot. But I think on the bright side, if you're gonna get a takeaway from this game, at least you know those people that give up on the team easily. You'll find on Ticket Exchange. Those of you that go to games like myself, you'll find tickets easier to get for Forest because the people that give up on the club will give up their ticket easily. And I think that it'll be good for those of you that are able to get tickets to games. That's one thing. All the day trippers and people who don't really support the team, win, lose, or draw, they'll give up their tickets for sure. Um, I did go through the player ratings of each team for us, each player for us, and we can only hope for some luck from the other results. Relying on other teams this game week, but we could be in seventh if at the end of this game week. And so far this season, we've only won 50% of our games, which isn't good at all. And it speaks for itself on how bad we're missing Odegaard in creativity wise, getting our attack going. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna wrap up my stream. Um, Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Chelsea is a must-win game next weekend at the Bridge. We have Inter Milan midweek. Take care, everyone, and have a good rest of your day. Adios. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I've been saying this since Skipper got injured. If we ever went 1-0 down, we don't have the creativity to get back. 100%. And I did talk about how badly we're missing Odegaard in the midfield. He gets everything ticking, and today we were just not up for it. We looked like we were a lackluster, and we looked so disconnected between our midfield and our attack, which I've already covered. I just wanted to do a quick reaction today. I'll probably go live later to do a tactical breakdown of this game, but I think this is definitely a game to forget for some of our players, especially for Timber. I don't think this was a game for him. He was quite poor today. Big up, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening, and I'll be back later tomorrow probably for an analysis of this game. And I have to do an Inter Milan Champions League preview. I'll probably do that on Tuesday or Monday because the game is on a Wednesday afternoon for me. So I'll do an Inter Milan preview this week. Guys, I'm on the road to 9,000 subs. I'm almost there. I've been consistent this week. I've given you guys 2 previews for Preston. I did a Liverpool review, and I did a preview for this Newcastle game just yesterday morning, my time. Thanks so much, everyone who tuned in. Sorry, I was in a cafe yesterday while I was doing my preview because I wanted to make sure I did one before the game. I was quite confident for this game. Um, I said if Gordon and Isak were unavailable for this game, that we would win 3 goals to 1. Boy, what was I thinking? Because somehow I thought our attack would perform, and I thought our midfield would perform with, bringing service to the forwards. But clearly, I was wrong and way off field with my predictions. We're now relying on other teams like Brighton and Bournemouth to help us out, which isn't good at all. And Forest are no pushovers either. And it's our only home game this month. And Forest are not easy anymore. Forest are doing well this season. Chris Wood scored against West Ham just now. And Freddie Kadigolu gives Brighton the lead against Liverpool earlier on with an assist by former Arsenal player Danny Welbeck. Take care, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, Zanzi Barbarian. I hope to see you in Dan's stream later tonight if he's going live. I want to hear his thoughts on the game as well. It would be nice to do a collab with him sometime. I know there's not a lot of people watching now because there's football on still, the other games on. But thanks everyone who's tuned in and shown your support, whether you're watching on Twitter or watching on YouTube. Big up everyone. Take care and have a good rest of your evening. Bye bye for now.